5 minutes for chapter 7. This chapter talking about organizational structure. I will split this chapter into two parts. One part on the left side of the slide is called formal structure, introduced mainly by our textbook. However, I won't spend too much on this formal structure of company. I will spend a little bit more time, like the entire 5 minutes, for something I want to talk. It's in informal structures. The only one thing I may touch a little bit for the formal structure is called matrix structures. So currently in the modern company in the world, you will see one employee have multiple manager. One manager may in their department, the marketing department, finance department, accounting department, they have their own manager. But at the same time, they may have their project manager working on some other project cross different department with other employee in different department. So this matrix structure has become very popular. I would say every company in this in the world now have this matrix structure, which is relatively more effective than the single or other kind of structures. Okay. Here's an example. What do I mean? Project manager. In addition, there's something called project champion who can work on multiple projects, support those projects by their financial authority power. The things I want to introduce is about informal structure. If I translate those formal structure into the informal structure, you can see the difference. Right? In this formal structure, everything's look good, structure. But in this informal structure, you see their connection, their link in more details. Right? For example, I'm looking at the research on many of those informal structures. This is one of my research topic. You will see even they work together, on the top of their working relationship, you may see some other kind of relationship, like a friend relationship or enemy relationship. Those informal structure may have impact on the organizational structure. Many theory we can use for those informal structure, for example, is dependency assumption, very popular, right? Or there's no four circle rules, right? For those informal structure, many of the time we utilize different methods to understand those informal structure. For example, I can send a survey to the company, right, to ask questions from their employees, say, even you work with someone, do you like to work with them? Right? If I give you a choice to choose different coworker, which one you want to choose, select most? I also use email to understand how often they communicate with each other. Someone may communicate after work. Do you think this could be a good informal structure? Right? Nowadays, we also use social media to understand their informal structure. The purpose to understand their informal structure is we want to restructure the company. Right? If you just only follow the formal structure, you always see they have this tall structure. Right? We want to cut them into a flat structure, which means the information floating from the top to the bottom, or from floating from bottom to the top, could be in a short time period. Okay. We also want to make sure each manager can have enough power to understand their employees, right? We also want to try this decentralized authorization. How about we run a small project in a company, not follow any formal structure, right? I don't know if you've heard this innovation days for the 3M, right? 3M is our Minnesota product. Every Friday, they don't have to work with their own jobs. They can go outside, and anyone they want, start a new project. They don't have to report this project to their own manager. Many of innovation you learn from the 3M actually not come from their regular days work. It's come from the innovation days. Okay, so there are another system nowadays because of COVID. This teller system has been introduced for many companies, right? But my point is, so for these chapters, you probably can think deeply about structure, organizational structure. What exactly the structure looks like may help you to understand the entire company. right? So here's my today's 5 minutes, which not related to any our textbook, okay? But please read textbook to the quiz.